Welcome back to the channel. Food, shelter, water, and energy are the four pillars that everyone talks about for survival. But without the fifth, security, none of it's going to matter. In a grid down world, it's only a matter of time before your preps are discovered, and without security, it'll be gone. So today I'm going to break down the four categories of off-grid security. And before we even get to that, I want to talk about something most people overlook, and that's your own health and strength. Security starts with you, and your body is your first and last line of defense. If you're not healthy enough to run, or strong enough to work for long days, or resilient enough to endure stress, no amount of fences, cameras, or weaponry will save you. Studies show that strength, balance, and endurance dramatically increase your ability to respond to threats. So whether that's carrying supplies quickly, staying alert on night watches, or maintaining composure under stress, mental resilience is equally important to any other physical capabilities that you can have. Without calm decision-making, panicking can destroy your plan faster than any outside threat. Before we dive into equipment or tactics, remember, health is the force multiplier that makes every other security measure far more effective. I want to say that security is a layered approach. It's an incredibly broad topic, and I'm only just barely scratching the surface today with a few simple basic ideas that you can use to protect your homestead, your ranch, or your bug out location. This is not meant to be a comprehensive breakdown of all the security measures that are out there that you could use. Okay, so having that out of the way, let's talk about the four main categories that we use here on this ranch to defend everything that we've worked so hard to build. The first category is rural defense tactics. Next to your own physical health and mental capabilities, your first line of security is distance and detection. So on this ranch, especially if you have a large property, you want to light what you need to see, but you want to keep yourself out of view. So motion lights and solar-powered LEDs are simple, effective deterrents. Alert devices are also really important. We have driveway alarms, perimeter security, and even something as simple as a gravel path that makes noise underfoot can give you precious seconds to react. Physical barriers, good fencing, locked gates, using your natural terrain, cliffs, washes, tree lines, can all deter visitors from, and certainly slow them down from being able to get to you quickly. We have boulders that I have strategically placed in areas that have choke points. So, natural terrain that squeezes around roadways on the ranch. And I can go down with my backhoe and put boulders across that road in a situation where we want to completely prevent anyone from coming on to the ranch in a really severe emergency grid down situation, for example. And that would significantly delay their ability to get a vehicle up here anywhere close to us. That, coupled with all of the extra implements that I have for visibility, where I can remain unseen and see others, like this helmet with night vision. I've also got thermal rifle scopes and other tactics to be able to see the enemy without being detected. And we'll use all of those to our advantage. Now, admittedly, I've never been in a grid down situation. I've never been in a country where the government was seizing control or taking over, but I read a lot. And I want to share two books with you that will allow you to have insights into the absolute calamity that a situation like this would entail. One is 1 Second After by William Forstchen. This is a novel, this is fiction, but this is based on a lot of research. And I think it's rather entertaining. I don't think it's the most eloquently written book I've ever read, but it definitely drives home how quickly things devolve and some of the threats that you might have to face and how your community is going to be your saving grace. Another one about an actual event, The Brutal Truth About Violence, Death, and Mayhem You Must Know to Survive by Selko Begovic. I think I'm saying that right. This is the dark secrets of SHTF survival. And this is something that will absolutely wake you up if you're not already very attuned. I know a lot of preppers are really wide awake as far as understanding what the threats are, how delicately balanced everything is, and with the just-in-time delivery services and everything running through our very vulnerable grid, it would be very easy for something to happen that would cause an absolute societal calamity. The main emphasis here behind number 1, rural defense tactics, is layers that buy you time. The more time you can buy and the more you can befuddle and discourage your attackers, the more likely you are to either thwart the crime altogether, the attack, or to delay it and minimize the effects. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Manpower Multipliers. If you really want to do a deep dive in this, and I recommend that you do, the best book I've found out there is actually 2 volumes. It's called Civil Defense Manual by a guy named Jack Lawson, or at least that's his alias. This is written by special operations soldiers and contributing author experts. And there's just chock full of some really well-known people in the prepper and survival communities. But this is a 2-volume set, and you can really get lost in this, but it is a complete manual for protecting your homestead and fortifying it. I highly recommend investing in that. I don't think you can go buy that on, well, you might be able to buy it on Amazon, but you can go to his website and just enter in Civil Defense Manual, and you should be able to find a link. And they shipped it to me. It came quickly. One of the best reads I've had so far. So the essence of the book really is on manpower multiplication. And even if you're strong, healthy, and very well equipped, you can't cover your land 24/7. That's why we work very closely with our neighbors and our community to establish communication methods, for example, using radios. And in normal times, we can use group texts or other agreed upon signals. In prolonged emergencies, scheduling rotating watches are a great way to prevent burnout. You need eyeballs out there 24/7. I mean, it takes a village to be able to make this work in a grid down situation. And most experienced executive protection and security advisors will stress that the best deterrent to rural crime is visible, active people. And a coordinated neighborhood is far more powerful than one isolated household. Number 3 is deterrence. And again, we're buying time here as well, because the best fight is the one you never have to have. That's the power of deterrence. Signs that say no trespassing, private property, beware of dog. They're simple but effective. Now here we have guests coming in and out, so we can't put any signs that are too overbearing or powerful or scary. But we do have signs, or at least materials that we could turn into signs, like even a piece of 4x8 plywood could be painted white, and you could paint "You're now in range" and put that down by your gate, for example. That'll definitely make someone think twice about who's watching them and whether or not they want to enter onto your property. And that would be in an emergency. You wouldn't put that down. I'm not going to go to put that down there at night. People will think I'm crazy, or we would scare our guests. This is only for when things are going sideways. You can deploy various deterrents in that situation that you wouldn't normally have on hand. Razor wire we have in bulk stored that we could string across the road. I mentioned earlier that we put boulders across choke points on the road to make driving a vehicle through there virtually impossible. They're way too big to just push out of the way. Add razor wire to that. Even if it doesn't go very far off to the side, it's a pretty ominous looking deterrent. It tells everyone that you are not messing around. When you're going out of town, make the place look occupied. Leave lights on, you have motion lights, you have cars parked down in the driveway so it looks like someone's home. I mean, studies show that rural theft is most likely to occur on easy targets. If your property looks like trouble, they're more likely to move on. Number 4 is weaponry. If all else fails, you need to be prepared. So think in layers: long range for standoff defense, close range for inside your perimeter, and preferably less lethal options like bear spray or beanbag rounds if that's right for your situation. But tools are only as effective as your ability to use them. And that's why training and fitness matter just as much as owning a bunch of guns. Take the time to learn, practice, and of course, store them responsibly. Remember, security isn't about fear, it's about protecting the life you've built. So if it comes down to it, it's you or them, it's going to be them. At least that's the way it's going to be on our property. So to recap, security rests on 4 categories: rural defense tactics, manpower multipliers, deterrence, and weaponry. But above all, it rests on you, your strength, your endurance, and your ability to stay balanced in a crisis. Without health, security fails. Without security, the other pillars, shelter, food, water, and energy fail. And if you want to see how I power my entire range securely, check out my detailed solar system video right here. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on the next one.